YouTube faithful and Nerd Nation, this is Lucius Prime coming at you with not another Transformer toy review, but actually a discussion topic, two discussion topics. As you can see next to me, I have
Fletch
from...
I don't really do my own one anymore.
From Morgana and Daddy. So you guys know Fletch, so for this one we're just going to call him Daddy. He's wearing his daddy hat. Anyways, as you may recall, actually last month I posted a video about what I think the next War for Cybertron series is. I know it's supposed to be a trilogy, but they are sending us so many signals that they're going to be doing something else. Whether it's part of the War for Cybertron series itself, the trilogy itself or not, or if it's going to be a totally new series altogether. And that would be...
Shattered Glass.
Which I'm so excited. And like I said in my last video, one of these days I was going to get one of these, and I finally did. I got Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. Not necessarily the exact one that I wanted, but still awesome. He's the Earthrise variant of, he's the Shattered Glass variant of the Earthrise Prime. So we're just going to stand him right here for now. He's going to be one of our little... I guess I got the camera caught in a weird way.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, he's kind of going to... He's going to fall off anyway. Anyways, so... Shattered Glass is definitely not a new thing. It's been around for a while, both in the comics and the different continuities. But for the longest time, the only Shattered Glass figure that was available was Optimus Prime. Then, shortly thereafter, the next possible Shattered Glass figure they were able to get, or that they came up with, you may recognize him from the Power of the Primes.
And I like this because he's got, you know, good taste in facial hair kind of look.
Rodimus Unicronus. As you may recall, I actually did a video on him before. Though the story on Rodimus Unicronus has changed, the original concept for him was he was actually just the alternate Shattered Glass universe of Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime. As you now know, he's basically just the avatar for Unicron possessing Hot Rod or Rodimus now. By the way, happy Pride. You may not be able to see his very well.
Mine isn't really a pride, but it is about equality.
Exactly, and as you know, here on this channel, we are about equality in all sorts.
I do have my pan mask.
As you can tell, he's pansexual, so he likes to have sex with pots and pans. That's besides the point.
I came out of the cupboard.
As you noticed from the last video that I actually posted about this, they had the Shattered Glass Megatron, and you and I both had talked about that. I don't know about you, but I do want it.
Yes. I noticed that in some ways that it reminded me of the Energon Megatron, but I was told differently. I was corrected.
Actually, I'm going to retract that correction myself now, because they do have a lot of resemblances, but upon further inspection and investigation myself, it also shares a lot of similarities with the Transformers Prime Megatron as well, with its alt mode.
Yes.
Basically a flying aircraft with a cannon on the back. But also, since then, they've started showing more and more Shattered Glass figures available. This Optimus Prime is actually supposed to come in a 2-pack with Shattered Glass Ratchet. Well, I think it's either Ratchet or Ironhide, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it's Ratchet, because if I remember correctly, it was the a white character, so it would definitely be Ratchet.
I wouldn't say that because Megatron's white. What
yeah, but I mean,
white for?
It was more or less the Autobot Ratchet, from what I remember.
But they're still based off of G1. It still could have been Ironhide, who was Optimus's best friend.
Yeah, but Ironhide's also mostly red.
That's true. But Optimus is red, and look at him. He's purple now. Megatron's white when he was gray.
I can't color coordinate anymore.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna actually have to look that figure up whenever I get a chance to actually see if it was Ratchet. But I digress, and I was actually lucky enough to find that figure, that Optimus Prime, off of Mercari. As you may recall, I've actually gave shout outs to Mercari before because that's where I've gotten a lot of my figures from. But somebody had put this Optimus up on Mercari by itself. I can't remember the price, but I got him like right after I actually posted that video. So, anyways, now some of the more recent figures that they've actually showed to go with Shattered Glass, and mind you, these are all repaints of some of the Seige characters, of Seige, Earthrise, and things like that. The next one they showed, I'm not sure if I actually showed you the picture. I know I posted it on the Facebook group of Covenant of Primus. Shattered Glass, Cybertronian, Starscream.
I don't remember if I saw that one. I'm gonna have to double check.
I admit, whenever I first saw it, you know what? Real quick, we're gonna pull up a picture of him and show him right here. Anyways, whenever I first saw it, I thought it was actually going to be, I thought it was Jetfire. I'm glad I was wrong, but I thought it was Jetfire just from the colors, and I can't believe I didn't think to myself, oh my god, that's the Shattered Glass Starscream. You don't need to worry about pulling it up because I'm actually going to put the picture in during editing. There we go. Anyways, movie magic. But yeah, it was Shattered Glass Starscream. So with the fact that they are doing more and more of the Seige and Earthrise figures as Shattered Glass figures, that's what's leading me to believe that they're either going to do a sequel series to the Seige trilogy, or just make it more than just a trilogy of Shattered Glass.
Well, there's also the talks of another animated series coming up soon too.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I hadn't really found a lot of information about it. I'm glad you brought it up, though. I don't really know anything about it. What do you know about it?
Not much, but I do hope that, of course, they keep Peter Cullen and Frank Welker.
Surprisingly, they're not actually voicing their characters in the Seige trilogy.
Yeah, I know.
Which Peter Cullen was pissed about.
But I keep seeing rumbles around the internet about what it's going to be.
Rumbles.
Yeah.
What about frenzies?
Well, it's putting the fans in a frenzy about it. So, but hopefully we'll see something that'll be really, really awesome. And if anything of the past series so far, it'll do that.
Well, as I said in my previous video, I really do actually want to see them put the Shattered Glass universe into some other medium other than comic books. I would love to see an animated series involving it. It's, whenever I first discovered the Shattered Glass, I mean, my mind was blown. So I'd love to see what they would do with that series.
Yeah.
But then again, there's also a lot of other series that I wish they would put into English, or even just in general port over to the United States, like Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo. I'm not allowed to hold pens or pencils. The rest of you already know why.
If they do anything like Beast Wars 2 or Beast Wars Neo, that would be definitely awesome, because I'd like to see them bring Magnaboss and why am I drawing a blank on the Decepticon one that I
Tripredacus?
Yes, Tripredacus.
Who are actually the three leading bodies of the Predacons during the Beast era, excuse my Freudian slip. They are referred to as the Tripredacus Council, made out of, well, they consist of Cicadacon.
A Plesiosaur.
No, that's Magmatron.
Oh, that's Magmatron, that's right.
The Tripredacus, there's a cicada, there's a lobster, and I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head. But either way, they were the ones who were put in charge. They were the ones who were placed to be in charge of the Predacons, which, believe it or not, they actually still have. Yeah, I know. They were put in charge by some of the Decepticons that were actually left from the Great War, and according to the comics, they were the strings are secretly being pulled by some of the original Predacons, Dive Bomb, and actually I know he's not a Predacon, but Buzzsaw, as in the Yellow Condor,
yeah.
Laserbeak's counterpart. But, for anyone else who has an opinion, please speak up. Go on to the Covenant of Primus on Facebook, or even comment down below
Now, speaking of Beast Wars and all that,
Well, I was getting ready to work into that, but just if you have any comments or anything, want to weigh in on what you think the next series for the basic Transformers series is going to be, just please comment below or reach out on Facebook or something. But much like Daddy here says, speaking of Beast Wars, the new live action Transformers movie. Thankfully, Michael Bay is not directing it, but they mentioned it a couple days ago, and people were all losing their minds. They were all freaking out about it. Now, mind you,
again, they were in a frenzy.
Yeah, they really were. You had actually mentioned something to you had sent me a message about it, and I'm not sure if you remember my reply. I'm like, yeah, I remember that, because they've been talking about it since the Bumblebee movie came out.
In fact, if I remember correctly, I think somewhere on your Facebook page, Covenant, you had at one point pictures of Optimus Primal.
Those were actually fan pictures, but they were cool looking nonetheless. I'm curious to see how they're going to do the live action version of it. Are they going to do strictly robotic looking
beasts, or
are they going to do the techno organic that we've come to know and love from the original series? Personally, I'm going to be a little upset if they don't do the techno organic, because that would defeat the purpose of the Beast Wars, because the point was for them to blend in with the local wildlife.
True.
Just like how the point of the original Transformers was to blend in with the local, what they believe life forms, machines.
And if you don't know anything about the past coming, from Beast Wars, if you actually look up online, you'll see that there were a lot that were never used in the actual series over here. But there are so many that are really cool that actually I wish they brought over here.
Oh yeah, definitely, like Lio Convoy and Big Convoy being some of my favorites. Which you've seen me do a video way, like 2-3 years ago maybe, where I was doing Optimus Primal. You were actually part of that video, Daddy.
I believe so, yes.
I believe you were handling the Lio Convoy because he was originally gifted to me by you.
Yep.
And as you can tell, he's got a place of honor amongst my collection. And you see I've got his Masterpiece figure now, which I'm planning on doing a review of the Masterpiece figure. I still need to learn how to transform him, but I probably won't, because it is a pain in the ass. If you want to know how to transform the Masterpiece Lio Convoy, check out Jobby the Hong. Shout outs, Jobby. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos or not. Hopefully you do one day. But yeah, I intend on doing a video on the Masterpiece eventually. But also along with that, Big Convoy, who is a woolly mammoth or a mastodon, along with in the Japanese they called him Gorilla Convoy, better known as Optimus Primal. Which that's another thing I'm curious about how they're gonna do Kingdom. Is it gonna be Optimus Prime turning into Optimus Primal, or is Optimus Primal going to be a separate entity?
Well, if you remember the animated series, they were separate entities.
Yes, but in the original comics, meaning like whenever they first came out,
they were reformatted.
Yeah, it was actually Megatron from the Decepticons and Optimus from the Autobots. But those versions were actually an alligator or a crocodile and a bat. Which I've been reading the comics. They finally reused the Bat version of Optimus and actually created an all-new character, a female Maximal. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I'll probably just put that in here later after I look up to see what her name is. I don't remember. That's actually really cool. Remind me to let you take a look at those if you're interested.
Okay.
So, from what little I've been able to read about the movie so far, it's going to me it's kind of like one of near the end of the second season, beginning of the third season, where the beasts, the Beast War, the Maximals and Predacons discovered the Ark, and we're running around the Ark with the Autobots and Decepticons passed out on board. So one way or another, it's going to be them interacting together one way or another. They mentioned on 98 Rock here in Baltimore about it, not about 2 or 3 days ago. They were saying that it's going to be the heroic Maximals fighting the Predacons and the Terrorcons. Which, for those of you old school Transformers fans, you know the Terrorcons were Decepticons, not Predacons. So I'm curious as to see how they're going to do that, especially because in the original Beast Wars, they had some of the G1 characters actually make cameos, like Starscream, And
Skylings. Sky. Oh, I'm thinking of
the Japanese version.
Yeah.
But no, for the American Beast Wars, it was the Ghost of Starscream who possessed Waspinator.
Mm-hmm.
They had Covert Agent Ravage.
Yeah.
Or as his toy was called, the Tripredacus Agent. And they even made comments about shrapnel. So there's actually a theory out there that says Waspinator is actually the leftover remnants of shrapnel, just who was rebuilt, reformatted, and reprogrammed into a Predacon to be Waspinator.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Actually, the last time you were over here, I showed you the video of that happening. And then in the same scene, they made a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference too. Wonko the Sane. So I'm actually really excited for this movie. I think I'm more excited for this movie than I was even the first one, and I was a wreck over the first one with how excited I was.
Oh yeah, I used to download trailers like crazy whenever there was one that I really liked that was coming out.
LimeWire.
Because
even worse.
LimeWire, Kazaa, BearShare. I won't go into any more.
Yeah, because those gave your computer STDs of death.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts?
System total destruction.
Yeah. Not suggested for any Cybertronian to download ever. Please, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm excited. I really want to see this. And I want it to be the best animation, CGI, whatever that they can come up with right now. I mean, they've done great in the past. The Michael Bay, I love some of the designs. A little too heavy on the explosions, but hey, that's a Bay movie.
Yeah.
But
Michael Bay in general, I love what he did for the movies. He gave them the recognition that they deserved, but he went about it the wrong way. He tried to base it around the humans, not the bots.
Right. Right now, I'm trying to find The Last Night to watch again.
I've got it on Vudu if you want to borrow my Vudu account. Or hell, I've got a physical copy if you want to borrow it.
I'll think about it.
Okay. But to quote, what was her name from Transformers Prime, the Japanese girl? Well, basically, I'm going to quote a character from Transformers Prime. What I want for a good, decent live-action Transformers movie is I want to be in Botswana, yo.
Mm-hmm.
I know, that was a horrible joke.
We've been making horrible jokes, talking about people rumbling and frenzy and all that.
Yeah, but the Botswana one, I think, was over the top.
Can you tell I'm also a father? I'm making bad dad jokes.
As you may recall, I don't know if I actually posted any of the videos with Morgana.
Right now, she's looking scared over in the corner.
Oh yeah, because some of the things you said whenever you got over here. But
Miko?
yes, Miko. Thank you. According to one of my producers, Elfie36. It is 36. No, Elfie32. Sorry. According to Elfie32, the character's name was Miko, who happened to be the human partner and best friend of one of the newer Autobots, and actually one of my favorite characters, Bulkhead.
Yes.
Which, don't get me wrong, Bulkhead was around in the original G1, just not as we know him today. He was one of the background characters that for the longest time went unnamed and unprofiled.
Mm-hmm. I did love the fact that in one of the episodes that he was in one of the shows, he actually took part of himself and made it into a chair to sit down.
You're talking about from Transformers Animated, the first of the newer incarnations of Bulkhead, which a lot of people didn't like animated because of the animation style. I actually liked it because I was a big fan of Teen Titans.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be different styles. I mean, I used to live in Okinawa, and I would actually see the generation.
So jealous.
I saw the Generation 2 way before it came over here to America, because I was in there from 84 to 86, and I knew about Rodimus Prime and all that before they came over here. And I mean, the animation style back then was along the lines of G1, but it still had a little bit of, you know, better looks when it finally came over. And now we've got like robots in disguise and all that, where it's actually really, you know, more seamless. You don't have like the Energon cubes that are missing the color, and, you know, robots in the background that are miscolored and stuff like that anymore.
Well, yeah. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it right here because we are actually running out of time. And I really do want to thank you for joining me on this particular
my
video.
pleasure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm glad I finally got to have this conversation with someone, and especially you, who is as big of a fan as I am. But
if I ever come into a fortune, I'm gonna have my own room full of nothing but Transformers. My
Same.
wife may not like that.
Same.
So it may be my new bedroom too.
But anyways, as always, thank you all for joining us. And I'm Lucius Prime.
And I'm Daddy.
And until next time, until all are one.
You've got the time.